Hey there, V from Movies Hunter here to bring you the explanation of the drama romance flick Curiosa. Get ready to feel all the feels, and maybe even roll your eyes a little. At the start of the film, we are introduced to Pierre, the wannabe romantic poet who's head over heels in love with Marie, the daughter of his trusty mentor, Jose Maria de Heredia. But wait, because there's more. Pierre's BFF, Henry, also has his eyes set on winning Marie's heart. Talk about a love triangle. So Pierre pens a love letter to Henry, confessing his love for Marie and how they're planning on tying the knot. But poor Henry, he's not ready to give up on his crush just yet. So he waltzes right up to Marie's dad and convinces him to have her marry him instead. Please, daddy, please. Because, wealth and social status always wins over true love, right? But Pierre, being the hopeless romantic he is not about to give up that easily. He confronts Henry, who coldly informs that his love for Marie is stronger than their friendship. So Henry and Marie walk down the aisle and live happily ever after. Or so they thought. Now, fast forward to Pierre's return from Algeria with a wild and passionate partner Zora in tow. The two are all over each other, taking wild photos and inviting their friends to join in the fun. Meanwhile, Marie can't resist her love for Pierre and pays him a visit. Hello Pierre, are you there? And wouldn't you know it, their love is reignited with a passionate kiss. Marie, the happy little homewrecker, just can't resist the temptation of forbidden love with Pierre. She pens a steamy love letter, begging Pierre to photograph her in all sorts of naughty positions. And Pierre, being the playboy that he is, happily says, "Yes, my love." As the photo session begins, Marie sheds her clothes, one piece at a time, eager to bury it all for the camera. But little does she know, Pierre has his own plans in mind. He wants to be more than just a photographer. He wants to be her lover, to teach her things she never knew existed. How generous of him. But there's more. Pierre pays a visit to Henry, the loving and unsuspecting husband, and he's, the BFF. And as fate would have it, Marie and Pierre pretend they haven't seen each other in ages. Oh, I haven't seen you in ages, what a coincidence! What a coincidence. They continue to sneak around and spend their stolen moments together. I'd be fucking pissed. One day, Pierre brings his friend Jean over to show his little black book, the diary of all the women he has had affairs with. When Jean asks why he keeps it, Pierre simply shrugs and says, why not? Because that's just how Pierre rolls. You see me rolling. But Mary starts to catch on to Pierre's ways. She realizes that she's not the only one warming Pierre's bed, and it breaks her heart. Yet, she continues to meet him whenever she gets the chance. Because sometimes love just makes you puke up. Makes me puke. One day, when Pierre is out gallivanting, Marie stumbles upon his diary and is thoroughly amused by all the pictures of women he has collected over the years. So, of course, when Pierre returns home, she just had to ask him if she was just the latest addition to his little collection. And of course, being the smooth talker that he is, Pierre just says, "Subscribe to Movies Hunter. I love you," and conveniently sidesteps the question. But let's be real, guys. Pierre can't resist his urge to add to his collection. So he goes on and convinces some poor, unsuspecting flower seller to pose for him. And of course, he doesn't stop there. He continues to add to his collection, including Marie. Fast forward to a fancy party where Henry and Marie run into Pierre and his latest conquest, Zora. Marie can't help but feel a twinge of jealousy and tries to make a quick exit. But Henry, being the observant one, stops her. He's starting to get suspicious of her behavior, but instead of actually talking to her like two healthy couples, two healthy partners, a healthy partner, he decides to snoop around in her room and finds the nude photos taken by Pierre. Talk about a dramatic reveal. Now, Henry is heartbroken and realizes that Marie never truly loved him. She was still in love with Pierre. So, in a fit of desperation, he tries to force himself on her because that's a very great idea. But Marie, being a strong and independent woman that she is, puts a stop to it and tells Henry, "Subscribe to Movies Hunter. I don't love you, and I would rather be Pierre's mistress than to let you touch me." And, of course, when Marie goes to see Pierre, she is in for the shock of a lifetime. There is Pierre entertaining himself and his friends with Zora. Later on, she tells Pierre that Henry find out about their secret love affair and starts bawling her eyes out. Ooh hoo 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 hoo. And while Pierre is busy comforting her, he doesn't miss a beat and snaps a few more pictures of her crying because why not? But the drama doesn't stop there. Pierre then drops the bomb on Zora that he has lost interest and wants her to pack her bags and head back to Algeria. Zora, of course, is not too thrilled about this sudden change of heart and tries to resist, but Pierre is all like, subscribe to Movies Hunter, you girl, you gotta go away now, bes. On her way back to Pierre's place, Zora runs into Marie and confronts her about her role in getting her kicked out. And in a fit of anger, Zora undresses Marie and shows her the moves she has that Marie could never dream of. Well, now that's one way to show who's boss. Meanwhile, Henry decides to pay Pierre a visit, because that's what good friends do. But instead of confronting him about his affair with Marie, he suggests that Pierre return to Algeria to be with Zora. And just like that, Pierre packs his bags and leaves town, leaving Marie heartbroken and wondering what went wrong. Feeling defeated and unfulfilled in her life, Marie turns to Jean and surprisingly says yes to becoming his mistress. And because she's got nothing better to do, she starts writing stories and sends them to Pierre in an attempt to get his attention. And lo and behold, Pierre is captivated by her tales and writes back declaring that she is the only woman he truly loves. Puke. So Marie writes a letter to Jean saying, "Goodbye, my love, don't come back, subscribe to Movies Hunter." But little does she know, she is about to become the reason for Jean's untimely death. Pierre returns from his travels and walks into a giant mess of a love triangle. He finds a photo that would make even the most seasoned third wheel blush and realizes that Jean and Marie were getting cozy while he was gone. Tragically, Jean couldn't handle the breakup and took his own life. Enter Marie, who makes a beeline to Pierre's house, thinking she can smooth things over, but Pierre ain't having it. He blames her for Jean's death and gives her the cold shoulder. Then, just when things couldn't get any more dramatic, this is such a dramatic movie, Pierre finds out he is going to be a dad, and not just any dad, but the dad of Marie's baby. Marie's mother tries to give her some tough love, telling her to move on, forget about Pierre. But we all know deep down, Marie thinks that little baby Pierre is going to bring her and the father of her child back together. A few months later, Marie gives birth to a bouncing baby boy, and names him after the love of her life, Pierre. But despite being a new mom, Marie is still unhappy and feeling unfulfilled. That's when Henry steps in, the ultimate wingman, and convinces Pierre to come meet Marie and their son. The reunion is a tearjerker, with Pierre and Marie confessing their undying love for each other. Henry knows that these two lovebirds are meant to be together, so he comes up with a genius plan. I don't like this movie. But anyway, he asks Pierre to get an apartment next to the one where he and Marie often meet so that he can be close to his family where he belongs. So Pierre agrees to get Henry an apartment next to his because, why not? The more the merrier. And of course, as soon as Marie walks in the door, Pierre can't resist and starts getting cozy. Meanwhile, poor Henry is just stuck in the next room, listening to the sounds of love and feeling helpless. He just wants to touch her, but she's still keeping him at arm's length. Then one evening, Marie's mother drops a bomb. Her friend Louise wants to marry Pierre. Marie's reaction was like, oh great, just what we need, another woman in the mix. But her mother tries to reassure her that Louise will be fine because Pierre is a good man. So Marie does the noble thing and sends Louise over to Pierre's apartment so they can get to know each other. The next day, Marie goes to see Pierre and breaks the news of the marriage plan. Pierre is not having it. He's all like, marriage? No thank you. I like my freedom and Movies Hunter is enough for me. But Marie, she is not one to give up so easily. She tells Pierre that this is the only way she can be close to him and take care of him. She is okay with sharing him apparently with Louise as long as she gets to be with him, even offering to let him spend his days with her and his nights with Louise. Okay, that's weird. Meanwhile, Henry is just happy that Marie has started writing stories and even offers to assist her. And Pierre, he eventually decides to go ahead with the marriage because deep down, he too wants to be close to Marie. I mean, who wouldn't? As time goes by, Marie and Louise make it a habit to drop by Pierre's apartment for photo shoots. Little did they know, all those hours spent in the dark room would cost Pierre his eyesight. But of course, Pierre, being the romantic he is, has no regrets and still thinks of all the steamy memories he shared with Marie. Fast forward, Marie is now a successful author, publishing her book under the fancy pseudonym Gerard. It was an instant hit, and before they knew it, she became one of the most popular female writers of her time. But, despite all of this fame and success, Marie never forgot the love of her life, Pierre. Ain't that sweet? Not really. And there you have it, folks. The dramatic and love-filled story of Curiosa. I'm gonna see you in the next hunt, and that's all.